Hi, today I'd like to share with you three things or three little tips that are going to help your children comply with the instructions that you give them. Really simple little things, but honestly they make the world of difference. Okay, number one, when and then. Using the words when and then and not using the word if. So I'll give you a little example. You would say, when you pack up the toys, then we'll play squirting games in the bath. So you'll jump in the bath after we've picked up the toys. Instead of saying, if you pick up the toys, because if gives sort of an impression to the child that they have a choice. But when you say when and then, they realise, okay, there's a sequence here. It's not really a choice. I just do this and then I do that. And usually the great incentive comes with a then. So when you put your shoes on, then we'll frog jump to the car. Because the when is implying that you expect obedience, and it works way better than the if, because if suggests to the child that they have a choice. Number two, legs first, mouth second. Now that little tip just helps teachers to realise that they shouldn't be calling across the room. They shouldn't be sort of raising their voice to get a child's attention or even trying to speak to them from one side of the room to the other. Using your legs, you move towards the child, and when you get within their area, then you start speaking. Because if you're just yelling out, stop that, from across the room, then they just easily ignore you because who's it directed to? So we generally walk into the area where the child is playing. We join in with the child's play for a few minutes, and then during that moment you have that child and you repeat the rules of the classroom to them. So the teacher might say, we keep our toys with us. We do not throw them. Keep your toys with you. Another one is, because I suppose at home you could be saying, instead of yelling from one room to the other, stop that, stop pulling your sister's hair, stop doing this or whatever. You're walking towards them, you're joining in, you're saying, okay, where are we at here? What's happening? And then you start talking. Going to the child conveys that you're serious about your request. Otherwise, children will ignore you if you shout at them from across the room or from another room. Number three, stay brief. In that I mean, keep it to one sentence. Put the main directive into the first sentence that you say, into the opening sentence. So the longer you ramble, the less effective you will be. The child will soon become adult deaf. You have to also realise what stage of language your child is at. And if they're only at a 2-word stage, or even just a very short sentence stage, then you model back to them the level of language that they are at and maybe just expand it a little bit. But if you keep going on and talking and talking and talking, too much talk is just such a common mistake that many people have. They feel like they're discussing the issue with the child. And I see this all the time when I'm out and about, especially at the shops. Parents who are over-explaining everything to their child. And really, just one good sentence would be enough, and the child would get it. When you ramble, it gives the child the feeling that you are not quite sure what you want to say, because you're just going on and on and on, and they just get sort of lost in that ramble. If you say that one short sentence clearly, in a kind manner, but in a strong manner, with it as a directive, then they will understand it so much more. Clever older children think that if they can keep the adult talking and rambling on, then maybe that adult would get sidetracked. And I've seen it with very clever, articulate children, especially in the primary school. You know, if they think, oh, I can get this teacher talking. In other words, they then get control of the situation. So I say, especially the younger the children, stay brief. Just have one sentence and get your point across in that one sentence. So my 3 tips for helping children comply with your instructions are: number 1, use the words when and then rather than if. Number 2, legs first, mouth second. And number 3, stay brief. I hope that helps you. Thank you.